Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to Ugly Like Me on the MS&Me Radio, sponsored by the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network, coming to you 24/7 internationally. And with that, I always give a big shout out to Erica, our station manager, because I don't really know how she sleeps. You know, she'll write me something at like 12 midnight and then something at like 2 and then she'll answer something at 4 and I can't figure it out, but she's a big dreamer and she helps me to dream big, and that's really all I care about. People who inspire me. Who is that? It's my buddy Scott Woolman is back. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Jamie?
Were you in the hood?
Yeah, I was just passing by.
Looking for some coffee ice cream?
Always looking for coffee ice cream.
Always looking for, and I don't have any, dude. I think I have like a strawberry, what's strawberry shortcake? What are those things called where it's like...
The little pops?
It's like a pop, and it's got like almost like the toasted almonds.
Oh, yeah, those are good, yeah. The Good Humor Man used to sell those.
Dude, yeah, exactly. I have
back in the day when the trucks came by.
Exactly. So if you want one, you've got to get it before Meatball comes home.
I see.
You got like 15 minutes.
Uh-huh. Well, we'll see how we go.
So, dude, you know what I'm kind of interested in? Nobody will talk to me about what they... Can you hear my jingle jangle? Like, I need to chill with the bang. Jingle jangling. I need to chill with that. That and my... What do you call those things? Minions?
Oh, the Minions Band-Aid.
My Minions Band-Aid. Nobody will talk to me about what they binge on Netflix when they're ill. And I think what you binge on is really important because it keeps you out of your sickness. You're not totally in your body. It's important to sort of dream when you're sick.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely a binger.
Yes. And you've also been sick too, right? I mean, you haven't had MS, but you've had cancer, so you know sickness. But there was no Netflix then.
There was no Netflix when I had cancer. There was there was internet, but we didn't use it the way we did now. I think probably back then you had your 20 hours of AOL and then you had to get off.
That is so true. I think, though, 1999, that's when you had cancer. That was like when it started to shift. Like, that's when everything started to sort of shift a little bit email-wise.
It could have been my cancer that shifted it.
It could have been your left testicle?
Yes.
Your left testicle could have shifted.
So my left testicle shifted the internet.
Yes, that's pretty powerful stuff, man. Pretty powerful stuff. So these days when you're not feeling... I don't know why nobody wants to talk to me about this, but like, what do you dig on Netflix?
Well, I grew up being a superhero comic book junkie.
Yay!
And my favorite superhero as a kid was Daredevil. I just thought it was awesome that a blind man...
Oh my gosh, so he's like the first... He really may be the first handicapped superhero. I never thought about that.
He may or may not be, but he was the one I was aware of. And I don't know that I thought... you're a kid. I don't think I thought about it consciously. Oh, wow, a blind superhero. But there's something to that he was blind and he's a superhero. He's not Superman. He's not like super smart like Batman or whatever. He just, yeah, Batman, he can build all these things and what have, and yeah, he figures stuff out, Batman. But Daredevil, I know, different comic book company, but Daredevil just struck me as really cool because he was blind. He wasn't, graced with all these amazing superpowers. So I was into Daredevil. And when he came onto Netflix, it wasn't like the movie with Ben Affleck years ago, which was horrible.
I refuse to watch it because I'm afraid I'm a Daredevil freak, and I feel like if I watch Ben, he'll ruin it or jinx it or something. I don't know. He'll taint the sacredness of that show for me, and it really is sacred. And I just not handicapped. I didn't think about that until just now. That was a huge revelation. So I won't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch Ben in Daredevil.
He falls in love with Jen, though, right? Isn't Jen?
Yes, she's Elektra in the movie.
Oh no! That's bad casting. Jennifer Gardner as Elektra.
It was bad casting from the moment they hired Ben, but the Daredevil on Netflix, I think he's well cast, and it was truer to what I remember the comic book being. Yeah. So I totally binged on Daredevil. I think I watched the first 2 seasons in under a week.
What season are they up to now?
They're filming the 3rd season now. They just had that Defenders, which wasn't really all that good, and he was one of the characters in the Defenders. They kind of brought all their 4 superheroes that they had running on Netflix together. Yeah. But Daredevil was 2 seasons. Then the other 3, Elektra, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, were, I think, 1 season each, but I could be wrong on that. And then they all came together.
So were you, I know Luke Cage, exploded, and I know a lot of people who love that, and Jessica Jones. Were you a big Luke Cage person? Are you?
I liked him in the Defenders, so at some point I'll probably go back
I've never watched.
and watch. But actually, I said Elektra, I meant Jessica Jones, and I really liked her in the Defenders, so I went back after Defenders was over and binged Jessica Jones in 3 days.
I watched maybe the first 3 or 4, and they were so intense, but my kids kept coming in, and it wasn't kids stuff, Even Daredevil, I keep that on as much as I can, but there's still, it's not as sexual as Jessica Jones was. It was bam in your face, but I just felt like Daredevil was a little too violent as well. But Jessica Jones, there's no way I could get away with any part of that with my children in the room, so I had to.
Yeah, I think
I'll go back when
Yeah, Daredevil. Jessica Jones was more sexual than the Daredevil shows were, but they were all really violent. Defenders was violent, and I don't know if that's the best thing for the young kids either. Right. So yeah, I'd probably just watch that without the kids around. Also, when they're a few years older, they can watch it if they want.
So, well, what do you think? Okay, so do you think Daredevil is your favorite Netflix show now?
Without question. I'm really not a big Netflix watcher. I only went on it because Daredevil was on it. Someone else has an account. I think my mom's account. And I heard Daredevil was on it. And I was like, oh, I have to watch this. If she didn't have it, I would have gotten an account just to watch Daredevil.
Are you serious?
Oh, absolutely. I love Daredevil.
Oh my gosh. I love Netflix. So and then that's why I watched Daredevil, and I was hooked immediately. What's your favorite part of Daredevil?
The Netflix show?
Yeah.
What
I know the 80s comic you were into, but the show, or maybe it can be the comic, but for me it was the backstory between his father, and his father being this one sort of person, but does something sort of the opposite way that sort of made him look angelic in another way. And I like the human interest sort of aspect of the backstory of Daredevil. That had me. But what had you? It had me at hello with the backstory.
Well, I think that kind of ties to where my favorite stuff is with Daredevil, and it's just his conflict. Yeah. He's always struggling with his role as Daredevil, and a lot of comic book superheroes do this. Spider-Man is big on that, where they battle themselves as to whether they want to be heroic and give of themselves 100% or have a life basically, and it's always that battle with a love interest. And so I think I like that with Daredevil, is his inner turmoil.
His inner turmoil, yeah. I wonder if, I wonder what the greatest inner like turmoil is for Daredevil, and I don't want to give it away either. Like, I don't want to say too much and spoil it, but like, is it like his past? Is it love, or is it, this quest that he's on, to bring justice to the world? Like, I wonder which turmoil is the greatest. I don't even know that love is actually that big of a deal sometimes to him. Like, I'm into it. Like, there are definitely like parts of it that I ship and I'm like, yes, but then it just, I don't know that he's always into it as much as, I don't know. And then there's like, he sits with his priest. There's like a religious.
Yeah, there's a religious component to the show. I don't know if it's love so much as relationships. And again, it's something that comic books and the comic book superheroes all do, or a lot of them have, is that conflict. So I think the biggest thing, his father plays a role on the Netflix show, but I think his relationships and having normalcy is probably the biggest conflict, where he loses his lawyer partner as a friend because of him being Daredevil. He ends up losing the girlfriend who was originally the secretary because of Daredevil. Yes. So he loses all his relationships, really, outside of maybe the priest. He loses all his relationships because he can't help but being Daredevil.
He could never stop being himself, and it hurt his friends and his loved ones so much. But I don't think he could turn that. Do you think he had a choice? Like, I don't know. Like, if people are born to sort of with a gift and a drive that big, like, does he have the ability to stop doing what he's doing and choose them over this gift, even though it's not totally a gift? I mean, he had to really hone those skills as a blind child. Or maybe he's superpower. Is there a superpower to it?
Well, he has heightened sensory abilities, I believe.
He does, because of his disability.
Yes,
so like, his disability is his talent?
His disability, to a degree, I never put it in those words before, but his disability probably is, in a large measure, his superpower. So that's probably true. And in the Defenders series, they play a lot on his ability or inability, without being a total spoiler here, to give up the Daredevil persona or not. So they really focus on that in Defenders a lot.
Wow, I've never watched Defenders.
It's not. I didn't love it.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. And it's only like 8 or 9 episodes, if I remember correctly. So it's not even a major binge.
Yeah. See, I get sad when it's only like 8 or 9 shows, because I kind of.
Well, then you miss it. I'm like that with some books also.
Yeah, it's like you miss it. It follows you around. Like, remember me? You know, and then it's gone. So I totally know what you mean about missing it. So, who's your favorite woman in Daredevil?
Elektra's conflicting. I think I forget her name now.
And she's not in the actual comic book, right?
She was in the comic books after I was grown up. So I didn't know from Elektra when I was a kid. But I think the character on the Netflix, I can't remember her name. She's a relatively famous actress. She's the doctor in the emergency room who keeps fixing him up every time he gets cut.
You mean the nurse, Rosario Dawson?
I like her.
Oh, she's a hottie. Is that sexist to say? She's just so attractive. And I don't just mean it like aesthetically. I mean, aesthetically, she's beautiful, but the way she acts and behaves is so beautiful as well.
I'll go with hottie.
So hottie fits. That's a hottie.
She apparently hooks up with Luke Cage in the Luke Cage series. So,
was that a spoiler alert?
by now, Luke Cage has been out for 2 years,
so it's okay?
I think so.
I have not watched any of it. Wow.
So,
I'm grieving right now because Scott totally just spoiled that.
Also.
Is she?
Yes.
So which role is she coolest at?
Well, she's in the same role in all three.
Which one do you think is she explored the most? Is she like shown the most?
I liked her in Daredevil, but I didn't see her in Luke Cage because I haven't gone back and watched that yet. She was good in Defenders, and she has a bigger role in parts of Defenders, but I thought she was awesome in Daredevil because she kind of had like this like sarcastic tone to Daredevil. Like, how many times do I have to fix you?
Yes, and she's like so funny about it, but like, and then she's kind of tough, but then she's just gentle because she does fix him, and she's that solid presence that is there, and she doesn't want to be there, but she's there, and she's strong, and she pulls through.
Yes, and apparently if you watch Luke Cage, and definitely if you watch Defenders, she continues to be there, so...
I bet you that I would have watched those right away if I had known that Rosario Dawson was in those as well, because I really dig her character that much.
Well, now we know what you're going to be doing the rest of the week.
Exactly. And I think I may be locking that door soon before people start walking in it. So I'm glad we had this conversation. This off the cuff, totally not premeditated conversation. Yeah, about Daredevil. So do you have a favorite Daredevil like character, like other than Daredevil? Like I know who mine is, like, and it's not Rosario.
Well, who's yours?
It's Foggy.
Yeah, Foggy's a good character.
Foggy's just like, he's like a big teddy bear, and I want to hug him, and he loves his buddy, and like he really loves his buddy.
Yeah,
you know.
He'll get mad at Matt all the time and say, I'm done with you, but then he's always there, and he might look the other way and stick his hand out like behind his back and say, here, take whatever. Yeah. So he never bails on Matt Murdock.
Never. But I think that Sticks, now he's not in the comic books in the 80s, right?
If he was in the comic book, it was definitely after my time. I don't remember Stick being in the comic books at all when I was a kid.
Okay. Now, I think that he brings an element or a dynamic that is so interesting that I'm like, wow, you know. But Foggy's still like my forever Foggy.
Yeah, Foggy is the loyal friend. Stick antagonizes Matt to do the so-called right thing. Yeah. But Foggy is just the pal who you can always count on even when you dump all over them.
Yes, it's true. Although, do you think... Wait, can you hold the microphone while I take this off?
Sure.
Do you think Styx is pushing Daredevil to be good or bad? Like, I don't think I truly know if Styx is good or bad.
I think Stick is on what is being perceived as the good guy's side, and I think he's trying to push Daredevil to do what he thinks is the right thing.
What Stick thinks is
right.
The right thing.
But Stick will also cross every line, regardless of whether it's the good thing or not.
Or who he steps on.
Yes, he will kill someone, whether it's the right thing or not.
And I always watched it like he was good, and then he was bad, but he was bad for that good reason, and we were so confused about it. I think we share the same confusion.
Yeah, there's a lot more gray to Stick. I mean, maybe that makes him an interesting character, because he's not as clear-cut good guy or a bad guy.
And that ever-present debate question, I was the captain of the debate team for a while, that, you know, does the end justify the means? And that's kind of who Stick really makes me. That's where he lies with me. I don't know if the end justifies the mean, or, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, Stick would say yes, the ends justify the means, and Daredevil would probably torture himself trying to figure out whether it does or not.
All right, so I have two things in common then with Daredevil, a handicap and that. I'm that tortured soul.
There you go.
Sitting next to the priest saying, you know, so what about, like, any other ones that we should... how much time do we have on this show? Let's see.
I don't watch any other Netflix stuff. I mean, I might try to find a movie every so often. Yeah. But I don't know. What should you recommend to me?
I don't know. See, I don't know if I'm breaking gender rules here.
I'm a sensitive guy. I write poetry.
You are. That's right. You are. I've binged Netflix using Rabbit. I use Rabbit. Have you ever used Rabbit?
I don't even know what Rabbit is.
You go on, I can Rabbit with you later. You go on, you type in almost like rabbi.it, like in your URL, and it'll say, do you want to join Rabbit? And you just say yes and join up. And then I can friend request you. So, and then it pulls up any show that we want to watch, like using Netflix, right? So then together we can like watch something. So we'll have two little people down at the bottom, and like you can either see me live or you can just see a profile picture, but we can also text each other on the side. But we also have microphones so you can hear me. So we can totally like watch, like I've been binge watched Grey's Anatomy and Ally McBeal with Sophie, my friend in France. And
So it's like you're in the same room and you're watching.
yeah, we fall asleep. Like she's an insomniac. She's six hours ahead of me.
Yeah, sounds
So
right.
I would have to go to bed early because that's when my body would bonk. But then she'd be up like with an insomnia, so we would fall asleep together almost. We're almost to the point where I'd realize she wasn't responding anymore. So I'd say good night, Sophie, and I almost had to like put her to bed, and then I would just close up shop, and she'd wake up in the morning with a note, that just said, good night, Sophie. And she learned to speak the language, a lot of it, or English this way.
Well, that's how a lot of people learn languages, from watching
Right?
TV.
Yeah, watching Sesame Street.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Remember that HBO show, like about that kid?
Message contacts who have signed up for Alexa messaging. To see which contacts have signed up, go to your Alexa app.
Alexa is talking to us in the background.
Alexa is apparently hanging out with us.
Apparently, Alexa wants in on this interview.
Yeah. Welcome, Alexa. Wait, I might have said that too loudly, or she would say something. What was that HBO show where the kid was like brought up only watching commercials and shows, like while his mother was like vacuuming? So like he just has like these flashbacks.
I don't know
old
it.
Shows.
I don't know it.
Gosh.
I haven't really had I binge watched Sopranos after it ended, but I haven't had HBO in so many years. So if this is something recently,
Yeah, this was from like 20 years ago.
yeah, I probably didn't even have it then.
And nobody remembers it when I asked them.
Yeah, I don't know it.
But I would say, back to your question, Ally McBeal was actually very much worth watching, especially like the musicals. Like it's funny, like in how they bring music into it, and the unisex bathroom. It adds a lot.
I actually watched that show the first few years it was on because Callista Flockhart went to Rutgers when I went to Rutgers. She was the same age as my sister. In fact, I'm pretty sure we played quarters together in my sister's apartment.
Are you serious?
So I'm pretty sure of that because she was at my sister's for parties and stuff. She knew a friend of my sister's, I think. So I'm pretty sure that I played quarters with Callista Flockhart.
That is so cool. I don't. Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Well, so for that reason alone, you should go
back, watch more Ally McBeal.
A decade's worth. I watched like a decade's worth of Ally McBeal in about like a month, maybe.
That's a lot of Ally McBeal.
I was pretty sick, so I just kept with it, but it was so good. And it's heartbreaking in a way too, because you see people grow, not just their characters, but also the people themselves. So there's a sad component, that and Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, Grey's, I was never a watcher of it.
And everybody would always tell me to, and I just didn't really care.
Yeah, I know people love it, but I've never seen an episode.
It's just it's so worth it. It's so amazing. It's really, really, really good.
Duly noted.
But do I have anything else? I mean, I'm always watching Netflix. Why can't I think of... I read all the Game of Thrones books, but it's not on Netflix.
I've never seen... I don't begrudge anyone who watches it, but I have never seen 5 seconds of Game of Thrones.
I saw 5 seconds of it on Rabbit, and it was really fuzzy, and it was totally the opposite of the book. Like, it was like, it began in this violent way with her husband being violent, which he wasn't in the book. So I was like, what? And then it like fuzzed out.
But that's always how it's like Lord of the Rings, the book. He'll go over the war scenes in like 1 page, and in the movies, the war scenes are like 90% of the movie.
Right. And you're like, what?
So it's always like that with books and movies.
I should have known better. I think we might have went over our time.
We might have.
But
We're
can
two blabbers.
we are blabbers. I will watch though the Defenders next.
Defenders, and then I went back and watched Jessica Jones, but you said you already watched that.
No, I've only watched like 4 shows.
Okay. Well, you should. How could you not? You got to finish Jessica Jones.
Okay, it was because of the kids. It was like
Finish
the kids were
finish
all young.
Jessica Jones, then watch Defenders.
So Jessica Jones, Defenders, and then Luke Cage.
Well, I haven't seen Luke Cage, but I'm told I should.
I think we're like probably only 2 people who haven't. Seen
Iron
it.
Fist holds no interest to me at all. He can
don't-
take his Iron Fist and
Yeah.
go
I
go
did-
away.
What's the Fast guy's name? The Flash.
The Flash, yeah, that's a different.
We watched that. Riverdale, forgot Riverdale. Riverdale is based on the Archie comics, and it's really good.
So I should tell my sister to watch that.
Tell
one.
your sister, because I know that's right. That's the only. The Archie comics is all your sister.
Yeah,
Right?
she probably read others that I'm not remembering or wasn't aware that she read, but I know she read the Archies.
It's done. It's shot in a very Twin Peaks, David Lynch kind of way,
Mhm.
and Luke Perry is the dad, which is really funny. Watching it with my 12-year-old daughter.
Yeah, right. Going from 90210 to being the
that,
dad.
and she just thinks he's the old man in the show, like, and she thinks his son is like really the
Yeah, that'll do a number on you.
Yeah,
I'm
it
old.
makes me feel bad about myself. But dude, totally check out Riverdale for your sister and for you. And then the new season begins like I don't know, like October 11th. I think
It's
I think
probably
October
soon.
11th. October 11th, the new season. But I couldn't tell you what channel it's on because I only know it from Netflix. Oh,
How you find
11.
it?
Channel
Okay,
11.
11.
It's like the CWB.
Got it.
All right, so watch Riverdale. If
And you
have,
finished Jessica Jones.
and I'll finish Jessica Jones. And then if you have any comments, on what you like to binge on, go to MS&Me Radio. Tell us what to watch and why, and we would love to do it. And if you like MS&Me Radio, and then you like the Ugly Like Me page, my page on Facebook, the first 5 get the hardcore, it is hardcore, the hardcovered book signed by me, and I'll send it to you. And then the 5 after that, I'll give a shout out and say whatever you want me to say. So reach out to me at Jamie Ugly Like Me. That's my Twitter handle. It's pretty much the same thing on Facebook, Instagram, Jamie Titus. I think it's basically it. Got anything you want to add to it, Scott?
Nope, just a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking to you about absolutely nothing. We could talk about the weather for like
Yes,
5 hours.
We were a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, pretty much. Happy Festivus to the rest of us.
Yes.
Yes.
I have my Festivus poll at home, so
Oh, great. Next time.
there you go. That could be our next episode.
Awesome. I'll be there. All right, buddy. Peace out. We're sending you love and light. Take care, everybody.